Hi, and welcome to my channel, the BIM Academy Space. This channel is dedicated to teaching and training in all areas of building information modeling, that's BIM. We'll cover everything from 3D modeling and interdisciplinary collaboration to construction sequencing and other key aspects of BIM. We'll begin with 3D modeling, primarily using Autodesk Revit. I'm going to start off by teaching you guys how to create a template. So the template that we're going to create is for presentation, as well as having your company standards in there, which is your line styles, your line types, your line thicknesses, the annotation that you use, your title blocks, etc. And all this is geared towards having the model present on PDFs or on paper correctly, that you can then send to your clients. So to start off creating the template, I normally go and I will go File. I'd start a project. I'd go New Project. I'd use the out-of-the-box Revit. And if, depending on what discipline I'm creating this template for, I'll create the template using the appropriate template. So I'll use a structural template in this case and just go OK. So what I've actually created here, or starting to create here, is just a normal project, right? Once it loads up, so it comes up with a few levels, etc. There's nothing much in here in the way of line styles and etc. There's just basic stuff, but I'm going to modify this or add to this so that we have our own standards in there. The first thing I do is I save it as a template. So I go File, Save As, Template. So the reason I do it as a template is so that everybody who uses this template, once you've created it, has all these standards in there and they can just start modeling. So what I normally do is I'll give you the company name. I'll just say CN for company name underscore template ST for structural in this case, and save. Right, so we're ready to get the template going, and if we look on top there, we can see the name. It says RTE for template. So to start off, one of the first things I normally do is get the line styles right. Line styles are normally done by going to Manage, Additional Settings, and you've got the three line style areas in the top. You've got line styles, line weights, and line patterns. Line weights are really important in that it gives you an option to change the line thicknesses according to your scales that you're drawing at. And I tend to use the first few for for drafting, and the bottom bit I then use for modeling. So either way we go. So we'll use the top 7 or 8 for drafting, which is your line work, your fonts, etc. And then when we start modeling, we'll use those, and you'll see how we use this as we go. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put in my line thicknesses that I typically use, right? So I can see also there's not all the scales that I use. I can add new scales by just going to add and just picking them. I've got 1 to 10. I think we need 1 to 5. We need a 1 to 2, and sometimes we do a 1 to 1 as well. All right, so it's added them all in. So at 1 to 1, my number 1 pen for drafting would be a 0.05. Number 2 pen would be a 0.18. So I'm using the standard drafting thicknesses that you do when we use the old pen plotters in the days. 0.25. Right, so we've copied all the line thicknesses to the various scales that I want. Like I said, I use the first number 1 to 8. That'll be done. That'll be used for drafting or for presentation, and the rest would be used for modeling. So this is when you drop your actual 3D models onto a sheet. I use that as well. Right, so the next thing I do then is I go and I create my line types. So if I go to additional settings and go to line styles or line types, if I expand that out, I can see that I don't have much in there. I've got medium lines, wide lines, separation lines. There's nothing really. So there's a few in there that come standard out of the box, and I want to add my own and my company standards too. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go to new, leave the category as lines, and I can give it a name. So I can give it a name as um, name of company underscore 01 underscore continuous. Make it all uppercase if you want. This is just a naming convention that makes sense to you and your company. I normally put a character in front so it groups all of these together, similar to what it's done there on the side. You can see they've got the arrows on either side, so that groups them together. And all I do is I can then copy that. Okay, new B, and I just change the center one to 18 because I know it's 0 point. Okay, so you can see I've got a 0.1, 0.18, 0.25, 0.35, 0.5, 0.71, and 1.2. Right, we've created all the line styles that we need. So I've created a center line, a continuous line, a dash line, and a hidden line. At the moment, I've only put the thicknesses against the continuous, so we need to put the thicknesses and of course the line pattern against the others. So for centers I like to keep very thin in most everything. So I'm just thinking, no, I think we'll change them all. So one stays one, that one will become two, that one will become three, and then for center I would go and find the center line. Now we do have a center at a 1/4 inch and a center spelt a bit differently. You could go in here and really change this, and I'll show you now in a minute. So we'll use center in that case. Center. I can in fact highlight all the centers. Oops, just hold on control. Highlight all the centers so we can change them as one instead of doing them one at a time. And then if you just pick the last one, pick center, you can see they've all changed. Just pick another one there. So I know that all the 0.1s will stay one, all the 0.18s will be same thing, number 2. Oops, I pressed enter by mistake there. So if we go back to line styles, and then all the number 3s would be 3. Right, as you can see, I've done them all. So it's grouped all the 0.1s together, 0.1, 0.18s, 0.25s, 0.35s, etc. all together. I've gone and I've added in the line thicknesses and of course the styles or the line types. So I'll go okay. If I wanted a different type or wanted to change what the line style actually looks like, I can go, or the line pattern looks like, I can go to patterns. And in patterns, these are out of the box patterns. Sometimes these don't quite work the way our company wants them to look, and it's easy enough to modify them. If I wanted to modify the center, for instance, I'd go center, edit, and you can change the spacings of the dashes and the spaces of the line, and that'll change it for you. Some guys like it 6 by 3, and then maybe it's 15 and 3 again. Another way to do it is you could go and go new, create a new line type, and then you've got a choice between dash and dot and the value you need to put in there, which makes it quite easy to create new line styles if needed. For now, I'll just go with those line styles I got there. I want to go to level, let's go to level 1 for now. I just want to, not temporary, hide them. I'm just going to hide these elevation marks. I don't need them at the moment. Right, so what I want to do is I'm going to test those line styles according to each scale, because each scale will present them different, which means I might have to go and change the thickness of the line to the different, depending on the different scale. So the first thing I normally do is I'll draw a line, I'll make it about 10,000 long, and then just copy it a couple of times, make it to this can be anything, right? This is just me testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much I've got 4 lines, 4 line styles, right? I've got a one continue. Oops. Yeah, let's make it continuous, and then I've got a 1/8 continuous. I've got 8 lines. Sorry. Right, 1/8 continuous, 825, 835. So I'm just putting all the thickness of the lines here. 3, 5, 5, 7, 1, and the 1.2. So all I'm doing is I'm just making sure that these actually work according to what all the settings we've done. So I need to do the other 3 types. I'll just copy this across. 50, 50, 50, and do the same thing. Just go and change this to center, hidden, and dashed. Right, we've done all the line styles. These are continuous, center lines, dashed lines, and hidden lines. And at 1 in 100, they all actually look quite good. 1 in 200, yeah, it's getting a bit. The center line doesn't work so nice in 1 in 200. 500, it actually disappears. So you can see the upper scales. We need to start adjusting, the way we want it to look, right? But then again, if you're drawing at that scale, it might look right as well. And if we go down to 1 to 1 and zoom right in, so the only way we're gonna start adjusting this is if we start using it, and then we'll adjust it to suit as we go, create new line types, new line thicknesses, new line styles, new line patterns, etc. All right, so that gives us an overview of how we do our line styles. In the next video, I will then go on to the annotation. Please hit subscribe if you want to follow me, and please add any comments in the chat as to what you'd also like to see and what you'd like me to cover. Thanks for joining me. Cheers.